I've got a plan, though, for Chelsea for the end of the season. Basically, fire the coach, fire the 2 sporting directors, appoint me.
Oh, wow, that's a thought.
I'll get Areola, and I'll just leave it up to him, and then I'll go. And we'd be a lot better than what they're going to do.
Right. Well, I mean, Areola's in a situation where he's got joined up thinking with an ownership and they get him the players that he wants. I mean, is that going to happen under Blue Cone?
No, a good manager like him will never come to Chelsea. The only sort of managers they can get is the quality that they've been getting. I mean, this is the worst managerial appointment they've made there. I think Rossini makes Graham Potter look like Helenio Herrera.
Well, okay.
Chelsea Football Club have reportedly made a major managerial decision following a disappointing defeat to Manchester United F.C, a result that has effectively ended their hopes of securing a top-4 finish. The loss has not only impacted their position in the table, but has also triggered serious action behind the scenes at Chelsea F.C. The match itself was a defining moment in Chelsea's season. Despite moments of promise, the team once again struggled to deliver when it mattered most. A lack of clinical finishing, combined with defensive lapses, allowed Manchester United to capitalize and secure a crucial victory. For Chelsea, it was a result that confirmed their struggles and highlighted the gap between them and the league's top contenders. At Stamford Bridge, the reaction was immediate. Fans expressed frustration and disappointment, knowing that a place in the Champions League was slipping away. The pressure on the club's leadership and coaching staff intensified, with calls for decisive action growing louder. Reports now suggest that the club has responded with a significant managerial decision. While details are still emerging, it's clear that Chelsea are not willing to accept mediocrity. The leadership appears determined to reset and build a stronger foundation for the future. This potential change comes at a critical time. Missing out on a top-4 finish has major implications not just for prestige, but also for recruitment, finances, and the overall direction of the club. Chelsea must now reassess their strategy and ensure they can return to competing at the highest level. For the players, this development signals a shift in expectations. A new or restructured coaching approach could bring fresh ideas, new tactics, and increased accountability. Every member of the squad will need to step up and prove their value. Fans, meanwhile, will be watching closely. They want clarity, ambition, and a clear plan moving forward. The disappointment of missing out on the top-4 must now serve as motivation for change. Chelsea are entering a crucial phase, and the decisions made now could define their future.
To let them play the game, and you can play the game, and we're going to hit you on the break. They play with Mbeumo, Cunha, and making sure that Fernandes can hit the break, like open up. Okay, Šeško played up front, but he is more for the finishing product, if that's see. Garnacho is on the field for 5 minutes. He walks over, across the field, he is on the right-hand side, he came on, across the field, goes over to Liam Rosinha and asks him, can I play on the left-hand side? And Nato plays on the other side. You know what Liam says? Yeah, that's fine.
Wow.
I'm watching that because I'm sitting right behind the bench, and I'm like, which player in the world decides where he's going to play? Nah, that's not. When I saw that, I was like, how's this game going to turn if players start to decide where they're going to play and how they're going to play? Nah, that's not a good thing. When I saw that, that's not good. And then, how they were playing and the Lap was more worried about how he could beat his defenders up, physically instead of scoring a goal. And I think those kind of things, this is the answer why they're not scoring. Because their focus is not on the right thing. They're focusing on other things. And then they don't play well. And then you have 2 guys in the middle, and Fernandes and Caicedo. They were picking the ball up from the center halves, 5 meters away from them. You might as well play without the center halves then and play them at the back. Because what they were doing, the center halves could do. If you buy them for that much money, you can let them play the football game too and play them the 20, 30 meter passes. I'm sure those players can do that. You don't need players to sit right in front of them. So those kind of things slowed the game down, and there was no danger at all.
So, Mario, if you've got Garnacho dictating things, it shows, doesn't it, that Rosinha's out of his depth?
Yeah, because, I know what you're going to, because people are talking about, is he going to be there next season? They're talking about he might be going. They might want to sell him and everything that was going on with him. Look, I have seen Garnacho in two phases, right? The phases when he was in form, he felt really well, and he was very difficult to mark because he was very direct. When I watch him now, there is no danger from Garnacho. And one of the key things I always say, any winger I watch, if you don't take on a defender on the outside, that means that you have fear. And a winger with fear will never beat his opponent. Because if you have no fear in you, if you look at, I give an example now, Doku. What is Doku's strength? He takes you on the outside. Why? Because he's in your head then as a defender. But if a winger only goes inside all the time, then it doesn't become dangerous anymore. And that's exactly what he was doing. So for me, Garnacho at the moment, no, the kid doesn't look good, and not the Garnacho that I know.
I'm going to quote Mario Melchior when describing my feelings about leaving Rosinha, and he starts talking about data gathering. Data gathering. When a manager starts talking data gathering, look, I know there's a place.
Can I I'm data gathering, blah. But what? No. I'm interested in the fact that a manager's being told what to do by his players.
Well, and that's it. I was going to get there eventually.
Sorry, Alan.
No, that's all right. That happens. We haven't worked together for a while. We've been on break. We're a little rusty. When the manager is talking about analytics and data gathering, instead of focusing on what's going on the field, on the match, problem solving, the great difference between good managers, poor managers, and great managers is being able to problem solve on the field. And that you have such respect from your players that they're going to trust that the information that you're giving them and the role that you're providing these players in their minds is going to be what is going to give them the best chance to be successful and the team the best chance to be successful. If a player has to come across the field to then tell you that he's going to go play somewhere else, first of all, any player who has anything about them, they decided without having to go ask the manager if they can do it. That's one thing. Second thing, that the manager allows it to happen freely.
Yeah.
That is a terrible look for him as a manager. It's a terrible look for the player. It's a terrible look for the team. But it helps to explain why this team is all over the place, because we're more focused on paying respects to the ball and data gathering than we are about problem solving on the field by both the player and the manager. This is not tenable.
No. Let me just say, on the one hand, I want to say it happens. Players come to say to the manager, I'm shifting position.
Yeah. You want to play up front?
Thierry Henry or Patrick Vieira does that. Gianfranco Zola, that Mario just mentioned. Fine. Garnacho, though.
And that he feels he has the wherewithal to do it.
Listen,
and he's allowed to do it.
And he's allowed to do it. So, and that's my point here. You have to have a certain standing in the game, an understanding, an aura about you to be able to make that call, whether you go to the manager or not, as Ali alluded to. But Garnacho is not in that class of player. I'm sorry. So for Garnacho to be making, not only is he not in that class of player, just in terms of presence and in terms of respect, he doesn't have that impact on the park. To say, well, yeah, listen, if you move me from the right and play me on the left, I'm going to have a greater impact. Garnacho is not that guy. He really isn't. So for him to be coming over and there being as little pushback, or to Mario's story, no real consideration, well, if we do this, how we... It's just like, go ahead. It just seems like a free-for-all.
Yeah, but how about you tell your player, hey, no, I put you over there, you stay over there.
And that's, it's not a good look.
We were all together last weekend after the City defeat, but Liam Rosinha is under massive, massive pressure, not just in terms of result from the club and this necessity to finish top 5, financially especially, is vital for them to finish top 5 and qualify for the Champions League. But maybe even more importantly, I think from some corners of his own dressing room, his own players, but also most of the fans are against him now.
And yet we had Bali come out in the last 4 or 5 days, Jules, and make a statement about, and they've said this.
I think Liam Rosinha is sticking around, remember? In the quote, I think he's staying.
Is that what he said?
Yeah. Well,
I thought he said. I thought he was talking project, and we were on the right path.
Project, but it was just still in a little bit in that word, and I think he's sticking around.
Well, I think when Liam Rosenior came in, I mean, obviously the rhetoric has been obvious from day one. It's been a little silly. Now, I'm being nice here. But I think there was a lot of Chelsea fans would want a young manager to work, as most clubs would. But I think, as Joe said, there is an edge at Chelsea now with not only the manager, but the ownership and the direction and how they operate. And I don't think the Enzo Fernandez scenario was handled very well at all. I mean,
it's just somebody throwing a ball into the box. And that's all they had today. They never created one chance. Enzo Fernandez had a chance in the first half, and it came about because it ricocheted off 2 Manchester United players, and then he put it wide. That's it. So there's no reason to think that this run is not going to continue. Because defensively, Manchester United had one shot on target, but had they made some better decisions on the breaks they had, they could have had 2 or 3 goals. Cunha had a great opportunity in the second half at 0-0 if he'd taken it first time. Instead, he took a touch and it was a horrible touch. So defensively, they're looking vulnerable. And going forward, Palmer, coming up to a World Cup, if you're Thomas Tuchel, you're looking at Palmer thinking, when's this kid going to hit his straps? To make it easier for me, how do I drop Phil Foden for Palmer when he's not doing anything? He's playing and doing nothing. At least Phil Foden's got an excuse that he's not actually on the field. But Palmer's done absolutely nothing to help this Chelsea side, as has pretty much the front 5 if you include Enzo Fernandez in that. They don't look as though they're going to break anybody down. They didn't look like it today. They couldn't do it. So you wonder when they're going to do it.
The top 5 will, that'll seal his fate, probably. But there's another game that could go a long way to doing it as well, and that's the FA Cup semi-final. Where they face Leeds United, where Chelsea will be heavy favourites, albeit Leeds have almost got themselves to safety, digging in and fighting and grit and all that. So there's a few scenarios along here that are huge games for him, but it's a difficult sell now to see how Chelsea are going to get in the Champions League places for next year, which for that club and a lot of clubs that have been in that competition on a regular basis, it's about the finances, it's about keeping the players that are there, and it's about bringing fresh players in. And when you're not in that competition, those things become a lot more difficult.
Is this the lifeline that Chelsea fans do have to be?
From today, this is a $1 billion team or squad assembled. And you look at today, Garnacho, terrible performance, and he got a lot of stick from his former fans and team. Fair enough. The Lab, not good enough. Estevao got injured after 10 minutes. Neto, maybe just about a squad player for a normal Chelsea side. Palmer, great, but tonight, anonymous, really. If there's no movement around him, there's not much he can do. And then you go Enzo, he wants out. Caicedo, the only good news of the week is that they managed to somehow extend Caicedo's contract. I'm not sure that means he's going to stay until 2033, but at least contractually, he's tied with the club for that. And that's the only good news of the week, because the rest, we've said many, many times, all of us on the show, the squad is badly structured, the manager is out of his depth, and now they are risked to have a really catastrophic season financially and sporting-wise too.
On the